everyone, and welcome back to Mandy Weirdmore's classroom. Today I'm going to teach you how to rotoscope animate in the drawing app Procreate. You go into the app and then click photo. And instead of actually clicking a photo, you are going to click a video. And this is a video I took of myself. You don't want to trace over other videos or other people's own work for obvious reasons. That would be stealing. So you can take a video of yourself. Disney actually used rotoscoping in Cinderella for the iconic ballroom dance scene. Anyway, it will take like a year for it to import.
An eternity later.
Once it is imported, it will still take a second to load, and it will take a while to load every time you open it because it's such a huge file. Because videos, I don't know if it's really meant to do this in Procreate. However, I'm always drawing on my iPad because I'm always in and out of hospitals, so I can't take my huge setup with me everywhere I go. So my iPad is my life savior. So I will continue to be using Procreate. Okay, anyway, you can see it when it loads, and you can scroll through it frame by frame. And you can also change the settings to have the frame speed go up, which will make it go by faster, or the frame speed go down, which will make it go slower. Frames per second usually are 24, but it depends on what you're doing. Like nowadays, anime is getting even more crazy with 64 frames per second. Jujutsu Kaisen does that. It's insane. I couldn't imagine working for them. But this is what I was doing. I was doing a trend. So I was drawing on top of the frame, each one by one of a different original character I've created. I would recommend doing a different layer on top of the frame so you don't draw directly on the picture and not be able to erase. But the thing is, Procreate limits your amount of layers, so you can't always have more layers. So I used all layers possible for this video. So I did the thing I don't recommend and drew directly on top of the picture. So I could not go back and erase. Oh my god, don't do that. That is so difficult. If you've ever used a digital art program, you know that there are multiple layers you can draw on. One being the sketch, the next being the line art, the next being the shading or the highlighting. The thing is, for Procreate, when you switch to animation mode, each layer is a frame, and frame by frame animation is played separately. So each frame would be different, and that would mess up those who are used to drawing on multiple layers. So the trick to this is you can group multiple layers together, and this will make it one frame entirely. So you can still use multiple layers. The hassle with Procreate is it limits your layers depending on the size of your canvas. And seeing as I made this for a TikTok, those canvases are quite large and a lot of pixels to make it high quality. So my layers were severely limited. I only had like 300 layers available, and I was unable to make more layers so I could group them together. So that is why I drew directly on each picture. Terrible decision. Really don't recommend it because you can't go back and erase because it will mess up the background, and each background won't match. Because the thing with animation, you want all the backgrounds to stay the same, so it doesn't look like the background is moving, because it's not, it's a flat. So that is the thing difficult with Procreate. But again, Procreate is not really meant for heavy duty animation. It's meant for more illustrated works. And there's much more better animation apps out there like Toon Boom. However, that is really just a strictly computer-based animation program. so your iPad can't use it. So that's why I am again sticking to Procreate for now. And I like to draw on my iPad. It's easier to go, as I've said. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, as we're all busy out on the go. Why am I like promoting iPads right now? They don't need my help promoting it. Well, I've got you here. I do all my animations through Procreate, even the ones you saw before, as in Mandy Weirdmore's classroom, and as well as my opening where I flip the book. And this is all done on Procreate, and you can do this by going into the canvas mode in the settings with the little wrench and turn on animation assist. The thing is, you don't have to do this with rotoscope animations because you already put in a video and it will automatically turn it into animation assist, as you saw with all the layers. The downside to Procreate is you cannot have audio inside Procreate, even if you do what I just did, where it's importing the video into Procreate and the audio just will disappear. And if you want to do lip syncing, it's pretty much impossible. However, I do this thing where I have the audio on my phone when I'm trying to lip sync for TikTok audio but animate to it. So I'll play the audio over and over again on my phone to match the words up with the mouth. And that is kind of difficult, and I don't know if it will be possible for everyone because having a phone and an iPad is kind of privileged. So if you can do that, that's the only way I found it to be easy, is having multiple devices. Again, I said Procreate isn't really meant for animations, though the GIFs are pretty good. I like to make my outros for my Twitch elements on it, and those turned out good. Like when the dragon is just swaying her tail slightly, it will look good because you can have multiple layers by grouping them for one frame, and so the highlighting is easy as long as it's a very short animation like you see for Twitch outros or intros. You might think they're not short, but really they're most of the time GIFs and they're repeating. So it looks like it was done multiple times, but it's actually just a couple of frames repeating over and over again. Unlike this one, which was really difficult. I'm gonna just keep talking about how freaking difficult this animation was because I drew directly on top of it, and I'm never gonna do that again. Don't do that. Don't break the rules. The thing is, I like to say, once you're an experienced artist, you can break the rules. And that's what actually one of my art teachers told me. Except I'm not an experienced artist. That teacher was an experienced artist because they were teaching. However, I am only 22. I have like 22 years of experience. I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil, but it's still not enough to be just full sending it on top of a photo and solely losing my ability to erase. But it's a good experience to make yourself be more slow and thorough with your line art, so you know you can't go back, so you're less likely to mess it up and sketch really fast, so you're more intentional with your strokes so you don't mess up and don't have to redraw 52 times. But that undo button was my savior in this experience. But it's similar to art exercises where you have to draw without erasing and have like 10 minutes or 5 minutes in like the beginning, like a good warm up. However, this was not a warm up, and it will be posted on my TikTok if you want to check it out at Mandy Weirdmore. I'm at Mandy Weirdmore on everything, so I'm just saying you should check me out everywhere because I'm pretty cool. I like to think. I think you guys just think I'm crazy and that's why you follow me, but it's whatever. I know I have a crazy life. This animation didn't really turn out how I wanted it to, though, because it lacked details from the lack of layers. So again, Don't follow by my example. And don't judge me too hard. Think of this as a tutorial and not as one of my best works. And I'm going to show you the finished product, and then afterwards I'm going to show you one of my better works because I feel like this is not showing it, and I don't want you guys to judge me for being a bad artist because I swear I'm good. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my art, the process, and learning a bit about rotoscoping on Procreate. Most importantly, everyone, stay weird and maybe subscribe if you like me. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, bye everyone. Stay weird.